we give one more round of applause for Soul in Motion? My name is Chris Lane. Am I on? Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. My name is Chris Lane, and I will be your host for this 2018 City of Rockville MLK Day celebration. Can we all give a round of applause for us just being here today? So now, before we get started, I just want to tell you a thing or two about Soul in Motion, what we just saw. So they are based in the city of Rockville. Who else is from the city of Rockville? Anybody? Show of hands, show of hands. All right. And how many people from out of town? Okay. Perfect. Soul in Motion is based in the city of Rockville. They were featuring the Catherine Smith Contemporary Dance Ensemble. They are celebrating 34 years in the arts. Yes, 34 years is a long time. During Black History Month of this year in February, the Ensemble will present its annual anniversary concert entitled Prequel at the Joe's Movement Emporium. During the last weekend in February, these details can be found on the organization's website, soulinmotion.org, and on Facebook. Soul in Motion remains committed to sharing the beauty of the African American culture, along with diverse audiences through African dance, drumming, and folklore theater. One more round of applause for Soul in Motion. So we are here today to share in an experience. Everybody who has come here today has some knowledge, different ranges about Dr. Martin Luther King. Now, one of Dr. Martin Luther King's favorite phrases was, "We are in this together." Can everybody say that with me? We are in this together. And now we are going to champion that phrase as we continue our event today. Now, what that means is that there are going to be an absolute incredible amount of talent that is going to grace this stage, an incredible amount of speakers, amazing resumes, and amazing dedication to the community that are going to come and speak today. And we need to allow time for everybody to speak. Now, I know that people are going to want to come up here and tell us their life story. And we love your life story, but we just might not have the time to get everything in. So that goes for everybody. We want to share this stage with as many voices that we possibly can today. So I want to introduce you to our event. The theme for today is standing on the shoulders of giants. Standing on the shoulders of giants. And we are going to discover together exactly what that means today. So without further ado, the first person I want to bring up is Courtney Proctor, who is a member of the Human Rights Commission, who will tell you a little bit about the commission and also what we have going on today and in the future. So please give me a round of applause in welcoming Courtney Proctor to the stage.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. And thank you, guests, for being here today. As Chris said, my name is Courtney Proctor. I'm one of the members of the Human Rights Commission. Joining me today in celebration of Dr. King are my fellow commissioners. If you are here, please stand as I call your name. Ebony Davis, Ben Snyder, Deborah Cohen, Harry Iceland, Juliana Ivanova, Wangari Kamau, Irfan Mortuza, Tololope Andurulami, Alonzo Smith, Jody Volk. I would also like to recognize our staff liaison, the heart and soul of the commission, Janet Kelly. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. Thank you. The Human Rights Commission is an 11-member body that is charged to and strives to eliminate discrimination in the city of Rockville. We do this by providing programs and services that reduce conflict and build understanding. such as our mediation program, and programs that heighten awareness and appreciation of diversity, like our Diversity Leadership Workshop and our Rockville Pride program. For a full list of programs and services that we provide, please visit our table in the hall. To continue our program, here is Mayor Newton.
Sorry, everybody, it's hard to hear in the back. Good morning, and thank you for joining us as we celebrate Rockville's 46th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I'd like to thank the Human Rights Commission and staff member Janet Kelly, not just for today's inspiring program, which I know it will be, but for your continued efforts to promote leadership and opportunities for engagement and conversation in our community. Thank you. Thank you also to our participants, performers, and volunteers for helping us to honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. We do stand on the shoulders of giants. And by sharing your talents and gifts with us, we celebrate and show our gratitude to all those who've paved the way and given us these opportunities. We're fortunate to have so many elected officials in the audience, and we sincerely thank you for joining us. Before we do introductions, I've been asked to give a little reminder. As Janet mentioned to you earlier, when I announce your name, please stand up, turn around, and wave so that the camera in the back can get you. We'd like to see your smiling face. An audience, when our representatives are standing and waving, let's give one clap. One. We'll keep things moving that way. First, I'd like to recognize our Rockville City Council members. Remember, one clap. Councilmember Virginia Onley. Councilmember Julie Polakovich-Carr. Councilmember Mark Pershela. Councilmember Beryl Feinberg is out of town she's out of town this weekend, but she appreciates the clap, I'm sure. Also joining us are City Manager Rob DeSpirito and City Clerk, Director of Council Operations, Kathleen Conway. Our dignitaries follow with Ken Reichard, representing Senator Ben Cardin, Senator Cheryl Kagan from the state, Delegate Anna Sol Gutierrez, and Delegate Jim Gilchrist. Rebecca Smondrowski, representing the Montgomery County Board of Education. Sidney Katz, Council Mayor. Sidney Katz, Montgomery County Council. And Steve Van Grack, former mayor of Rockville. Rose Krasnow, former mayor of Rockville. And Jim Marinan, former city council member. I think I've gotten everybody. Did I miss anyone? Shebra. Please stand. Shebra Evans. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all for your service to our community. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Those prophetic words from a sermon by Dr. King were published in 1963 in his book, Strength to Love. I believe more than 50 years later, they could have been written for today. We've heard all the calls: Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, Me Too, and now time's up. Well, my friends, as a child of the 60s, born in the 50s, lived through Watergate, I believe this is our time, our most challenging and controversial time. This is where the rubber meets the road. But because we do stand on the shoulders of giants, we owe it to the next generation, to our children and our children's children, to make the most of opportunities those giants worked for, fought for, died for. Dr. King said, "It is never the wrong time to do the right thing." And there can be no better time than today, right now, to stand up to the noise and demand that our leaders work together. The City of Rockville is a member of the Maryland Municipal League, and Councilmember Onley is on the board of the Montgomery chapter. The goal of MML is to advance the interests of the 157 municipalities of our state to represent the 1.5 million citizens, taxpayers, that live in our cities and towns. MML isn't blue or red. MML isn't conservative or liberal. You might say we have the best of all worlds, because MML, by the very nature of our mission, advocates for the interests and autonomy of our members, municipal governments. There wouldn't need to be hashtags like Time's Up and All Lives Matter if those we elect did what we are supposed to do. If we stood tall in times of challenge and controversy, if we worked together on the challenges and turned them into opportunities. I'm sure many of you think I'm speaking about the current resident at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm actually speaking about all of our elected officials, federal, state, and local. I'm speaking about myself. You see, we are elected to represent all the people, not just those who see it our way. Governor Hogan said it in Annapolis on Wednesday. Speaker Bush said it Wednesday evening at the MML reception. Governor Northam said it in Richmond on Friday. We are elected to work together, to work to see things from a different perspective, to work with each other towards solutions, to compromise. We are elected by you to take all the ideas and create the best environment for education, for commerce, for health and safety. We are elected to represent the people. As we begin another year, 2018, the start of the 438th session of the Maryland General Assembly, the second half of the 2015 term of the Rockville Mayor and Council, and yes, the craziest, most polarizing, some would even say Kafkaesque time in our country's short history. Let us work together. Let us remember the sacrifices of giants on whose shoulders we stand. Thank you. And Councilmember Mark Elrich has arrived and is down in front. Mark, if you'd stand up and wave. Thank you.
Please join me in giving a round of applause to our mayor and also our commissioner. They are the first two giants that we get to meet this afternoon. Now, MLK was undoubtedly a giant. But the theme of this afternoon is that we have giants in our communities locally and also on a larger level. Can everybody turn to their neighbor and say, I am a giant? All right, now turn to your other neighbor and say it with feeling. I am a giant. All right, there we go. So we have chosen, there you go, shout it loud. We have chosen 5 pillars, if you will, of leadership that Dr. Martin Luther King embraced and embodied. So can you repeat after me with each pillar? I'm going to introduce the pillars and then we will navigate through them together through this afternoon. The first pillar is education. All right, come on. The first pillar is education. Okay, the second pillar is illuminator. Okay, there we go. The third pillar is peaceful leader. The fourth is justice seeker. All right, got a little bit of rhyming going on. And the fifth is forward thinker. All right, and we are going to start off today with educator. So, Dr. Martin Luther King, who graduated high school at the early age of 15, graduated college at the early age of 19, felt that education allowed us to think with intensity and also critically. This, coupled with morals, he felt that education allowed us to be able to determine what is true and what is false, and also cautioned us not to allow true education to be tainted by propaganda and to be tainted by falsehoods. So, I want to introduce you to another giant, and this giant's name is Dr. Ruby Reese Moon. Yes, yes, yes. Now, let me tell you about Dr. Ruby Reese Moon. Dr. Ruby Reese Moon started her guidance counseling career in Georgia. Who's another giant that we know is from Georgia? All right, come on now. All right, started her guidance counseling career in Georgia in a segregated school system with no contracts. She was the first African-American guidance counselor at Poolesville in 1966. While employed as a guidance counselor at Poolesville High School, Dr. Ruby Reese Moon recognized that students were in need of college and career information. She thought and asked the question, what can I do to meet the needs of these students? So she wrote a proposal to establish a career center, the first career center, which would house a multiplicity of college and university catalogs, technical schools, and career information with projected salaries. This proposal was approved by the Montgomery County Public School System and was the first career center in that county, established at Poolesville High School. After presenting the concept to the supervisors of guidance, career centers were established in all senior high schools and eventually in middle schools as well. To further enhance students' information on colleges and careers, Dr. Moon organized the first bus tour in Montgomery County Public Schools to visit colleges and universities. As a result, graduation rates increased, attendance at various colleges, and also technical and trade schools improved. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Ruby Reese Moon. How you doing? And you can speak right at the podium.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "The most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" This is a great question for educators. Serving as a high school guidance counselor at Thomas S. Wooten High School, this quote matches what I tried to make sure that I did for the male students to encourage, inspire, and meet their needs academically. I established the Brotherhood of Superstars, short name BOSS, B-O-S-S. By naming the student organization BOSS, it signified the importance of education in their lives and that they would always be prominent and successful in life. BOSS, stars, students that achieve real success. Members of BOSS studied together, discussed social and current issues, tutored other students, invited renowned speakers to address them, planned and participated in sports events with their fathers, and held parent-son banquets. In turn, they saw their successes. The graduation rate improved, and male students realized what it really meant to be successful. To you, educators and future educators, you can open many opportunities through education. Seek out what is really needed in the community, a problem to fix. Develop a clear plan to address the issues so people can understand and strategize a way to get there, having dialogue along the journey. And then celebrate your successes.
All right, can we give a round of applause to Dr. Ruby Reese Moon? So next up, we have some more talent gracing our stage. We are going to get a delight from Scott Painter. Scott Painter is the founder and lead vocalist of Ja Works. Ja Works is a reggae band based in Baltimore. Anybody else coming all the way from Baltimore? Okay, all right, we got some. All right, that's also where I'm born and raised, so you got to be proud from where you're from. So Scott Painter is just getting set up right now, and while he's doing that, I have a question for us. So now we're going to use this event to test our own knowledge and become better educators ourselves about Dr. Martin Luther King. So I have a true or false question. If you think it is true, raise your hands. If you think it is false, just keep your hands down. Okay? The first true or false question is, Dr. Martin Luther King had 5 children. Okay, a lot of false. We got a few true, a few true. How many children did he have? 4. All right, he had 4 children. Okay, and let me do one more, true or false. And this is testing your memory as well. Dr. Martin Luther King graduated high school at the early age of 16. It's false? How old was he? 18. All right, y'all are good. Okay, welcome Scott Painter to the stage.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How are you all doing? Come on now. I said, how are you all doing? Yeah. We're blessed to be here together. I want to thank the city of Rockville for having me with so many beautiful and talented artists here. If you hear this message, hold on one second. If you hear this message, wherever you stand, calling every woman, calling every man, with a generation that can't afford to wait. Future started yesterday, we're already late. We've been looking for the song to sing, search for the melody, search for the one to lead. We've been looking for the world to change. If you feel the same, go on and say, if you're out there, sing along with me. If you're out there, I'm dying to believe that you're out there. Come on and sing if you're out there. Whoa, no more broken promises, no more call to war. Less it's love and peace that we're really fighting for. We can destroy hunger, we can conquer hate. Put down all the arms, raise your voice and say, we've been looking for the song to sing, search for the leader was me. We've been looking for the world to change, we can be the heroes. Just go on and say, if you're out there, sing along with me. If you're out there, I'm dying to believe. If you're out there, stand and say it loud. If you're out there, yeah. If you're ready, we can shake the world. Believe it once again, it belongs within. Yeah. We don't have to wait for destiny. No, I love the way you sound. All together now, I want to hear you sing. If you're out there, sing along with me. If you're out there, I'm dying to believe that you're gonna sing with me. If you're out there, Sing along with me if you're out there. Ooh. Sound lovely, Rockville. Let's hear you now. If you're out there, sing along with me if you're out there. Come on, Rockville. Set your spirit free if you're out there. Sing along with me if you're out there. God bless you. Love.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. If you are out there, Scott Painter said something that went by, raise your voice. He said, raise your voice and say. How many people can sit here today and say that on a daily basis you raise your voice? All right, all right. We all have it in us. We all have that giant capability in us. Now, I have a question. Once you are educated, what do you do with that education? What's next? Okay. I heard you illuminate. All right, you illuminate, you pass it on. So now we are navigating through this 5-pillar leadership journey into illumination. So I want to introduce to you Mr. Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones is a Rockville licensed level 4 water treatment plant operator. Born and raised in North Philly. Anybody else from Philly? Anybody? Okay. All right, got to know where you're from. Bobby's mother instilled in him the principle that to whom much is given, much is required. You need to always reach back, share your gifts, and help others. Sounds a lot like my mother. Hooked on drums, not drugs. That is not for me, AKA drugs, alcohol, and tobacco is not for me. And so you want to play drums. Our programs designed to reach out and engage youth. He has spoken to more than 95,000 kids and counting. He continues to reach out and be a guiding light and example to everyone that he encounters. Thanks to the support of many businesses, Bobby uses the art of music and his drums to deliver a message to kids of hope and inspiration. Bobby Jones is an illuminator. At the various career and fine arts day events that he attends, he closes with a phrase, always have a plan B to your primary goal, but keep polishing and perfecting the primary goal. Please join me in welcoming Bobby Jones to the stage.
Greetings. Greetings, Rockville. If blessed with the gift of song, I would give you this little light of mine. Considering I'm not, let's just move on and reflect on a true light, the leading light, the original illuminator himself, Dr. King. There were those who thought on the night of April 4th, 1968, they extinguished the light of Dr. King. I like to report, it's only getting brighter. With that thought, stop and ask yourself, what kind of light am I? Am I a flashlight? A candlestick? Back to the flashlight. Yes, my light may be steady, but after a while, the battery runs down because my batteries are running down because I've gotten used to the status quo that the world will take care of itself and these problems are not mine. Or am I a LED? We play with them, kids play with them. LED, light emitting diode, the single brightest, non-heating generating form of light. In total darkness, it has a range of over 60 miles. LED, for today, living example of Dr. King. As a LED, daily energize your internal batteries of education, sharing, caring, honesty, integrity, respecting your fellow man, practicing simple acts of kindness, and exemplify the plan of just plain and simple love. To my youth here today, You are the guiding light. You are the future and the key to hope. Never think of yourself as anything less. If you see something that you want to achieve, go after it. If you see someone doing something positive you want to achieve, go up to them. Ask, will you be my mentor? You can do this just by being a good listener, offering to tutor someone in another subject that you may be a little bit better than them at, or showing someone you care by encouraging them just when they are feeling bad. A simple act of random kindness. You are an LED, a living example of Dr. King. Thank you.
Thank you. Somebody turn to your neighbor and say, all you have to do is ask. It's that simple. It's that simple. So we are going to keep this program rolling. We got speakers. We got talent. So our next talent for today is the Migrant Heritage Film Dance Ensemble. They are the cultural arm of the Migrant Heritage Commission, helping immigrants, assisting with discrimination and human trafficking, and they also provide pro bono services to the entire D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area. At this time, if you could snap your glow sticks that you have, snap them, give them a nice little juice, make them illuminate. And if during this performance, you can go ahead and wave them nice and proud in the air. Please welcome the Migrant Heritage Film Dance Ensemble. Yes, isn't it a blessing to be able to perform talent with a message? Do we have any other talented artists out there? Any other talented artists? Using your talent, using your skills on a daily basis to inspire, to illuminate, and also to educate. Thank you so much for your talents. So now we are moving into our third pillar of leadership, which is peaceful leader. Now, what do we mean when we say peaceful leader? I want you to think about your favorite restaurant. Everybody think about your favorite restaurant. If it's McDonald's, it's McDonald's. If it is Bobby's Burger Palace, it's Bobby's Burger Palace. Everybody think of your favorite restaurant. Now imagine, if you will, imagine that you and your friend looks a little bit different than you do. You and your friend walk to this restaurant, and the owner of the restaurant comes out before you can enter. The owner of the restaurant comes out and says that your friend can enter, but you cannot. How would that make you feel? And if this has happened to you, which it may have, how did you feel? What were the emotions that came up? Were you angry? Were you sad? Were you confused? And how would you channel those emotions? Now, Dr. Martin Luther King and the people that he traveled with all channeled their emotions into nonviolent demonstrations, nonviolent methods. So that's what we mean when we say peaceful leader. It is leading a group of people peacefully through means that do not cause more harm. Now, on October 19th, 1960, King and 75 students entered a local department store and went to the lunch counter and requested to be served, but they were denied. Now, I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with this bit of history. When they refused to leave the counter area, Dr. King and 36 others were arrested. And this is one of my other true or false questions real quick. True or false, Dr. King was arrested 6 times. Okay, what about this? Dr. King was arrested 10 times. Oh, come on. How many times was he arrested? 29. Woo, 29 times. He was arrested more than 20 times. Yes. Yes, that is dedication and all through nonviolent methods. So, I want to welcome to the stage Reverend Mansfield Casey Caseman. Since his student days, he has been engaged in community organizing, ecumenical and interfaith work aimed at creating a more beloved community. His engagement in the civil rights movement included creating a model for theological education in the urban setting, which helped organize Martin Luther King Jr.'s first initiative in the North. In response to the Vietnam War, which was taking funding away from the war on poverty, Reverend Caseman, following the example of Dr. King, organized an office for peace that sent demonstrators to Washington, D.C. These demonstrators included the mayor, president of Yale University, and other prominent leaders of the time. Peacemaking dimensions of Reverend Caseman included participation in many demonstrations that paved the way to the release of Nelson Mandela and the peaceful transition to democracy in South Africa. Today, Reverend Caseman serves as the Interfaith Community Liaison in the Office of Community Partnerships of Montgomery County. He is engaging faith communities ranging from Anglican to Zoroastrian, literally from A to Z, in welcoming refugees, responding to acts of hate and violence with love, offering intercultural dialogues on bias, working to make Montgomery County hunger-free, and empowering interfaith responses to racism as well as xenophobia, anti-Semitic, and Islamophobia rhetoric and policies. His engagement with Dr. King and the civil rights movement transformed his life and set him on a justice-seeking path that he considers a prerequisite to peace. Please help me in giving a warm welcome to Reverend Caseman.
The most important lesson I learned from putting my life on the line, sharing in this nonviolent civil rights movement, is that the power of love is truly far greater than all forms of loveless power. And injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Since the inauguration of President Trump just a year ago, hate incidents in Montgomery County increased by 200%. They have come down, but this remains a very serious issue because today the majority of them are in our public schools. This leads me to commend all the students who are present today, and especially those who are performing. And I encourage you all to become peacemakers in two ways. One is to avoid arguing over whose button is bigger than the others. Or whose race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, political ideology, or faith is superior to all the others. Just avoid that. Two, realize that each of us are inextricably woven into the fabric of life. And in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., tied to a single garment of destiny. Therefore, embrace the richness of diversity that surrounds us in Montgomery County, unlike most places in the world. And in the face of hate and prejudice, stand up and speak out in the name of love. Most importantly, be reaching out well beyond your comfort zones and making friends with people across all lines of difference. I can assure you, you will then have a far richer and fuller life. I guarantee that.
All right, keeping us going. So, next up, we have the String Queens. The String Queens, combined with over 40 years of experience at venues across the world and teaching students all over the country. The String Queens are an ensemble dedicated to music that inspires love, rhythm, awareness. Now, as we know, Martin Luther King did not do all of the great things that he did alone. He had a lot of help and a lot of participation. So that is something that the String Queens are going to ask of you during this performance, is a little bit of audience participation. So make sure that you are ready, and let's give them one more round of applause as they grace the stage.
everyone. We're gonna need a little bit of help for this next one. Raise your hand if you know wade in the water. Wade in the water. All right, hands down. So like Chris was explaining, in the spirit of the great Dr. Martin Luther King, he did not do and accomplish the things that he did by himself. He needed a lot of help along the way. And just like he needed help, we need a little bit of help right now to help this piece of music come alive. So what we're going to do is divide you into 3 parts. Part 1, over here. Everybody raise your hand, part 1. Woo! All right. Part 2, right here. Hands in the air. There we go. Part 3, hands in the air. All right. Raise your hand if you're a musician. Hands down. Raise your hand if you just love music. All right. So if you love music, you are a musician, and we're going to bring that out of you today. Part 1, you are going to be the cello. You are going to clap the clave rhythm that you hear Elise playing. Everybody say clave. Clave. Here we go. Part 1. Keep it going. Great. All right, part 1, you're ready. You're ready. You can cut on out now. Part 2, you are the melody, the main part of a piece of music. And Kendall, our violinist, is going to show you how to sing this beautiful melody of Wade in the Water. Come on, Kendall.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. I'm gonna need more, God.
One more time, one more time, one more time.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
All right, part 2 sounds good. Part 1, you're good to go. Part 2, thumbs up if you're good to go. All right, thumbs down. Part 3, you are now going to be the harmony. You're the accompaniment that goes on with the melody. That's my instrument, the viola.
All right, one more big round of applause for the string queens. Yes, and I have to say, y'all are amazing singers. You know, back in the day, they didn't sing to sound good. They sang because it was necessary to keep moving. So even if you don't have a voice, I like to say, if you feel like you can't sing, sing louder, okay? And we might have a chance to sing a little bit later on, so hold on to it. So moving into our fourth pillar. Does anybody remember what it is? Who got a good memory out there? All right, justice seeker. Yep, justice seeker. So Dr. King continued his nonviolent approach in his marches, seeking racial justice, freedom, voting rights, and in his later years, he sought economic justice through the Poor People's Campaign. Now, when we say justice seeker, I want to introduce you to a prominent justice seeker that we have in our midst today. Lillian Agwu-Ibe, the founder and executive director of We Refuse Incorporated, a nonprofit organization created in 2010 to raise awareness of domestic violence in the community. She is an outstanding resident in Montgomery County. Despite the many obstacles in her past, she never gave up in her efforts to better herself and move forward in a positive manner for herself and her 3 children. Her daughter is now working on her doctorate degree. Yes, give it up, doctorate degree, yes. It is not an easy path in the School of Psychology at Harvard University. And her 2 sons in their 2nd and 3rd years in college in Connecticut and Florida on both academic and athletic scholarships. Miss Ibe knows that domestic abuse should not be tolerated and that women who are in situations suffering from this must know that they can get help and be able to move into a safe and secure environment for themselves and their children. Her goal is to give them a chance to seek education and employment that would aid in their empowerment and their survival. Ms. Ibe strongly believes in her commitment to providing information through her magazine, We Refuse Abuse, produced and published in Montgomery County. Her organization and volunteers help and support survivors in finding employment, training, and social services. Ms. Ibe consistently engages the community, and she believes in the principles and ideals where she makes every effort to communicate domestic abuse, that it will not be tolerated. She states domestic violence is unacceptable. It is an honor to have a strong voice and force in our midst. Please join me in giving a warm welcome. There you go.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored here before you on this stage to take a stand against all violence. I am Lillian Agwu-Ibe. In solidarity with the ongoing fight against domestic violence, sexual harassment, injustices, inequality, I think I can authoritatively say, Me Too, and We Refuse Abuse. The great Martin Luther King said, in his fight against injustice and inequality, not just in America, but around the world, and especially in third world countries such as Africa, where dictators massacre their citizens in very large numbers, and the world keeps silent. Our lives begin to end when we become silent in the things that matter. As a survivor and advocate, I have had many hardships, and I know firsthand what it means about discrimination, to be discriminated against, the abuse of power, and injustice. The only thing that separates an abused woman from a woman in a happy relationship is support and safety. My hope for you who are seeking justice is to remember that everyone deserves to live life to the fullest, and that when the community stands with us for our fundamental human rights to speak and advocate against abuse and domestic violence, then the world will start the journey to healing and love. Be aware of the issues and become an ally to eliminate the injustice. I would like to inform the youth of today, boys and girls, abuse of any kind is not acceptable. Go in your schools, go in your schools and community to spread love and respect. Reach out to your neighbors. Be colorblind. We are all created equal. Believe in yourselves, and with this, the world will be a better place. I, Lillian Agu Ibe, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. Thank you, thank God.
Thank you. Thank you, justice seeker, justice seeker. Who can tell me in their own words what justice seeker means? What does that mean to you? Let me get a volunteer. Who we got? Anybody, anybody. Justice seeker, yes, right there. Okay, justice. Now, what do we mean when we say justice? What is justice? Okay, so we're talking about rights. Anybody want to add on to that? Okay. True. Yeah, all right. There we go. There we go. Rights and truth. So, up next, we have a singer-songwriter who is native to Montgomery County. His name is Ra-F, and he is going to perform something for you all today. So please welcome Ra-F to the stage.
All I own, my whole life, is worth nothing if I'm not free. I will fight tyranny. I'll break the shackles holding me. If we can reach the stars above, even though they seem so far, we'll change the world, we'll overcome. Revolution starts with me. In the face of evil, the way of danger, yeah, I will be strong. Yeah, the storm clouds are coming, and all we ain't running, yeah, we'll fight on. And I will say, oh, 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 freedom be free. And I will say, oh, 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 I'll fight for you and me. And I will say, oh, 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 God make me free. And I will say, oh, 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 ain't nobody gonna take that from me, oh no. If we stay silent, we'll see injustice spreading wide. When freedom calls, I'll be there, stand by my side. It's our time to fly. Stand my ground till my voice is found. It's either death or liberty. Oh Lord above, give us strength and grant us victory. In the face of evil, the way of danger, yeah, I will be strong. Yeah, the storm clouds are coming, and all we ain't running, yeah, we'll fight on. And I will say, oh, 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 freedom be free. And I will say, oh, 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 I'll fight for you and me. And I will say, oh, 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 God make me free. And and I won't say, oh, 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 oh. Ain't nobody gonna take that from me. God made me free, so who's gonna stop me? I give my wealth, my life, cause it's my destiny. I was born a fighter, come on and stand together. Make the world better, pay for sunny weather. It's time to let go of your inner ego. Stand by my side, my brother, come on and let's go to a higher ground where peace and love is found. The songs are rolling, we're coming, we ain't going back down. Oh, 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 we ain't going back down. Oh, 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 freedom made free. And I won't say, oh, 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 ain't nobody gonna take that from me, no, no. Thank you.
Applause for Ra-F. All right, so we are bridging our way to the finales of our program. So I got a question. If we're educated, we have the power to illuminate, we have a quality of being a leader, and we have the intention of seeking justice, what's the last thing we need? You gotta think forward. Now, what is that? I think that means having a strategy and having a purpose. Turn to your neighbor and say, I have a strategy and a purpose. All right, now turn to your neighbor and say it with meaning. I have a strategy and a purpose. Yes, you do, and we all do. And sometimes it is okay if we do not exactly know the details of that strategy and purpose. But as long as we put ourselves in situations where we are able to take that risk and when we are able to strive with our community, with our collective village to achieve that forward thinking. So we're moving into our last pillar, which is forward thinking. Dr. King's actions, his vision stirred up the popular culture and the thinking of the time. His actions helped us evolve. I want to introduce to you a forward thinker of our community. Kimberly Brown has over 30 years of experience in the financial services industry and serves as the Assistant Vice President, Eastern Regional Director. Kim has a BA and MBA from Washburn Fellow Life Management Institute and Fellow Life and Health Claims certifications. Now, 5 years ago, Ms. Brown launched Financial Mastery Experience, which is a financial education company. She's currently working with families providing college planning and financing education and workshops throughout the United States. Her book is due out by the end of this month, and it's called, Where is the College Money? 5 Steps to a Debt-Free Degree. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds good to me. Follow her on Facebook for scholarship and internship information at Realizing the College Dream. Once again, that is Realizing the College Dream. Went to university in Topeka, Kansas. She holds the Fellow Life Management Institute and Fellow Life and Health Claims certifications. And this says exactly what I just read. So, without further ado, can you please welcome Kimberly Brown to the stage?
Before I get started, and that is, how many of you are headed to college? Raise your hands for me. The average college debt is about $40,000 to $50,000. So when you graduate, that's what you need to expect to pay. Some of you will be on the higher end, some of you will be on the lower end. How many of you are trying to look forward to retirement? Raise your hand. Okay. Parents, let me explain something to you. 30% of those that are obtaining Social Security will be in default for student loans. That's you, because you helped out your children or you had student loans of your own. And when you're in default, what happens is we actually either take your Social Security because it's garnished, or we take your tax returns. So this issue with college planning and education is pretty serious. So I wanted to talk about forward thinking. They're collaborative leaders in business, nonprofit government, and the education sectors. They realize the benefits of working together. They are visionaries, and they have an art for implementing results. Every one of you in this room has the capability to be a forward thinker, if only you dream. Martin Luther King said that faith is taking the first step, even when you can't see the whole staircase. And no person has the right to rain on your dreams. A forward thinker will have a few mishaps. They might even stumble and fall. But just like the rain comes down, the sun comes up, we need dreamers to carry us forward, push the status quo, challenge the rules, and to test the boundaries. What I've just described are many traits that reside in each one of you. Repeat after me. I am a leader. I am a dreamer. I am a college dreamer. And I am a forward thinker. I'm going to leave you with something that my mother used to tell me, and that was, there's only a couple of things in life that no one can ever take away from you, and one of those is education. And so I pass that baton to you to do what many of us have already done, and that is to get your education. And what I'm trying to do to help you now is to get that education as debt-free as possible. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for all of the work that you've already done and for the work that you're about to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Such important pieces of information is how to deal and manage with finances. Definitely life lessons. So, I want to welcome one more piece of talent to the stage, and that is the Leeway Youth Choir. They were established in 2015, created and coached by Miss Liwei Zhang, a renowned mezzo-soprano singer from the Conservatory of Music in Shanghai, accompanied by pianist Liang Chen. The choir has performed at various acclaimed cultural exchange events and festivals in Washington, D.C. since its inception. These include the 5th to 8th Sino-US Youth Arts Festival, New Year's Day and Lantern Festival 2016 and 2018, and Grand China Spring Gala. Leeway Youth Choir also actively participated in the concerts to promote environmental protection. This time, they prepared The Prayer, a song for MLK's Memorial Day in the hopes of carrying forward a spirit of care, love, and peace. The Leeway Youth Choir advocates the phrase, combine education with entertainment. Combine education with entertainment so that children may grow up happily through singing. Please welcome the Leeway Youth Choir. One more round of applause for the Leeway Youth Choir. Thank you so much for your voices. So as we start to close out, I want to invite the first person who is going to give us some closing words today. Can I please have Commissioner Deborah Cohen to the stage? Join me in giving a warm welcome.
Hi, I'm Rabbi Deborah Bowden-Cohen, and I am thrilled to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Marcia Chatelain. She is an associate professor of history and African American studies at Georgetown University and the Eric and Wendy Schmidt Fellow at the New American Foundation. She is the author of South Side Girls Growing Up in the Great Migration. And Dr. Chatelain is a scholar of African American life and culture. In 2014, she organized her fellow scholars in a social media response to the crisis in Ferguson, Missouri, entitled #Ferguson Syllabus. She's contributed to The Atlantic, Time.com, Ms. Magazine, and the Chronicle of Higher Education, which also named her a top influencer in higher education in 2016. She's appeared on many local and national television outlets. She hosts Office Hours, a podcast in which she talks to millennials about issues most important to them. And in 2017, she joined the team of Undisclosed, a podcast featuring a 16-episode arc about the death of Freddie Gray in Baltimore in 2015. During the 2017-18 academic year, she will be on leave as a National Endowment for the Humanities Fellow to work on her next book, which is about fast food and civil rights.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for the invitation to spend time with you today, celebrating a holiday that I remember becoming law as a child, when the King holiday idea grew from a movement to a reality, due to the advocacy of Coretta Scott King, the Congressional Black Caucus, and Stevie Wonder's excellent original song, Happy Birthday to Ya. Kids, ask your parents. So today, I want to reflect on one of my favorite images of Dr. King. Of all the beautiful photographs and film clips we have available to us of his journey against hatred, among the moments in which he has been captured kneeling in prayer, a powerful form of protest, among the news photos of King delivering fiery speeches in front of thunderous crowds, clapping and shouting and crying and believing, among the beautiful and intimate portraits of King and his wife Coretta and their children, among this archive of our nation's greatest citizen, my favorite image of King is probably lesser known. It comes from episode 10 of Henry Hampton's landmark documentary series, Eyes on the Prize, which for more than 30 years has provided us a glimpse into the stirring stories of civil rights, from the death of Separate but Equal in 1954 and the killing of Emmett Till in 1955, to the resuscitation of movement strategies in Black electoral victories, including the election of my hometown mayor, Harold Washington in Chicago. Yes, for Harold Washington. I've seen all 14 episodes of this documentary, and I'm most moved by the film sharing of Dr. King's 39th birthday, his last birthday. King's staff members and friends at the Southern Christian Leadership Conference start the birthday celebration by declaring, "Now some folks celebrate Abraham Lincoln, but we're going to celebrate Martin Luther King's Day today. They keep him from leaving and breaking out of the room, and they start singing Happy Birthday. His friends then present him with a humorous gift, a tin cup, making fun of then-President Johnson's insufficient war on poverty. Dr. King more or less cracks up with his friends. All of these people who had been engaged in an overwhelming battle to fundamentally change the world and force the nation to live up to its unrealized potential all took a moment to celebrate and laugh with their friend. They did not know that they were 2 weeks into a year that would be better characterized by tears rather than laughter. If the people in that room on that day in January knew they would be saying goodbye to their leader and their friend that spring, what would they have done differently on that day and every day they were in the presence of Dr. King? We never know how much time we have with anyone we care about, but what we do have is the ability to spend our time getting to know those who inspire us and love us the most. So as we celebrate Dr. King, we are best served in getting to know Dr. King, getting to know the man beyond the one speech on the March on Washington or the occasional quote we may see on a poster or a t-shirt, or beyond who we want him to be, simplistic, moralistic, and unchallenging. So on this day, let's spend some time with Dr. King. In the late summer of 1967, King identified what he called the 3 evils of society at the National Conference on New Politics in Chicago. In his address to the conference, he said, "We are now experiencing the nation's sickness of racism, excessive materialism, and militarism, and it was creating a plaque on the heart of Western civilization." King, more than anyone else, was the right person to make this diagnosis. He was observing a nation sinking into war, failing to live up to the promises made by recently passed Civil Rights Acts and Voting Rights Acts, and he saw the inconsistencies of prosperity in white flight suburbs across the country, while poor children of color in cities and on reservations, and white children in Appalachia and across rural America suffered from nutrition-based diseases. King's diagnosis was made after years of monitoring the failing health of a nation that exposed its worst moral maladies to King and his movement. If anyone could tell the world that the United States was unwell, it was Dr. King. And although King's dream is an important ideal for us to aspire to, we honor King when we reflect on the nightmare slumber he was trying to wake the nation up from, and that we need to arise from today in order to truly get to know him. In a week in which we have seen the ramping up of negative rhetoric against immigrants of color, our 50th state, Hawaii, panicking about the possibility of a missile attack that was falsely reported, and as we anticipate cuts to health care and elder benefits to the most vulnerable among us, it is time to get to know Dr. King. We know that in the 89 years since King's birth and the nearly 50 years since his death, we have seen incredible progress among people of color in the United States. We cannot deny that the integration of schools, the greater access to college attendance, and the decrease in housing discrimination, as well as the electoral victories from school boards to city halls to the White House, all of these achievements have signaled incredible gains. Yet these dreams have come at a very high cost, and the price has been paid by millions of people being left behind. In the 5 decades since King was mourned by people around the world, we know that the number of people incarcerated has spiked from 200,000 to 2 million. We know that the number of people living below the poverty line in one of the richest nations is over 43 million, and 1 in 5 children live in poverty in our nation. We have no reliable data about the number of people who have been killed by the police, and every day we see the assaults on our civil rights. We know that King's final project, sent to launch weeks before his death, was a second March on Washington, a poor people's campaign that would unite people across racial and cultural and geographic lines to build a city within a city, Resurrection City in Washington, D.C., to ensure that the poor were not silenced at the highest levels of decision-making. The poverty that plagued 1968 was caused by the same forces that maintain poverty today. a lack of compassion on the part of our leaders, unfettered opportunities to exploit labor to turn profits, and an inability to agree upon the best ways to support people who fall behind economically because of illness, job loss, the incarceration of a household earner, the birth of a child, or the assumption of custody of another's child, the need to care for an elderly parent, a disability, or the myriad of setbacks that can derail us in our journeys to provide for ourselves and for our community. The materialism that King decried was not only about consuming more than you need or desiring things, if only it was that simple. The sickness of materialism is when objects become more important to us, more valuable to us than the liberation of others. Materialism creates an anticipation in that buying more means that we are being more, that consuming more can substitute for creating more, and that illness can only be cured if we can resist what King warns us about, making humans into things that can be abused and disregarded. The militarism that King criticized may have been one of his bravest acts. Military service had long provided economic opportunities for African Americans, and military veterans of color often used their service and patriotism to fight for civil rights. Criticizing the escalation of the Vietnam War made King's tense relationship with the president even more tense. But as he started to see the growth of the military response in Southeast Asia and found his commitment to nonviolence tested not only at marches, but also in his deliberations on the possibility of the U.S. entering an endless war, he found the moral courage to speak out against militarism. In our world today, we see the impulse towards violence, a growing comfort with annihilation, the destruction of people because we do not know them, the exclusion of some because of fear and hate-mongering, and we find ourselves sick with the anxiety of collecting so many enemies, of never trusting our neighbors because of what others have told us rather than what we have experienced ourselves. So King's warning about militarism is not only about ending global wars, but it's about the wars waged against everyday people in our schools, our community centers, and in our imaginations. To celebrate King is to delve into the depths of his political awakenings, his internal struggles, his moments of exhaustion, his moments of exhilaration, his mistakes and his misgivings, because it is when we know him fully, when we can embody his legacy fully, we can truly celebrate what he gave to us. In his final public address in Memphis, Dr. King assured the audience, who were weary from a 6 weeks long and continuing strike of sanitation workers, that there was a destination they were marching toward, a place that he could see from atop a mountain, but he declared, "I may not get there with you." Some believe King knew that his days were numbered, perhaps because of the threats to his life that followed him wherever he tried to do justice. Or maybe he was thinking about the slain leaders that went before him, Medgar Evers, James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, Michael Schwerner, Viola Loiso, and the many who were simply disappeared and were never found, the many who were assaulted, brutalized, and were never given a chance to speak again. And maybe he believed that he had to continue his intellectual and spiritual journey, which was centered in nonviolence and challenged by the escalating violence of wars on poor people and people of color around the world. We can all say that we do not know if we will get to see and live the beloved community King so deeply believed in, but I do know that we cannot get there without each other. Now more than ever, we must see the use of this day of celebration, this birthday party, to spend time with the guest of honor. One of King's most famous quotes from his speech, "Where do we go from here?" delivered in August of 1967, is, "Let us realize that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." As we try to bend that branch, bend that piece of legislation, bend our society, bend our hearts, we may need a little more context for that statement. After uttering those famous lines, King said, "Let this affirmation be our ringing cry. It will give us the courage to face the uncertainties of the future. It will give our tired feet new strength as we continue to move forward, our stride towards the city of freedom. When our days become dreary with low hovering clouds of despair, and when our nights become darker than 1,000 midnights, let us remember that there is a creative force in this universe working to pull down the gigantic mountains of evil, a power that is able to make a way out of no way and transform the dark yesterday into brightest tomorrows. Let us realize today that the arc of the moral universe is long, but together, we, and only we, can bend it towards justice. Thank you.
If you feel Dr. King's spirit in the room, say yes. If you feel Dr. King's spirit in the room, say yes, yes. Come on now. Woo! All right, so we have come to the part of our event where we are going to have the award ceremony. Now, awards are not why we do what we do. Awards are just a token of appreciation for what we have done. So, we are giving out 2 awards, the Martin Luther King Youth Award and the TAF Award. We're gonna start with the Martin Luther King Youth Award. It is an award given to a high school student that has in some way furthered Dr. King's dream. And then we are gonna follow that up with the TAF Award, which in honor of the late F. Michael Taft, former chair of the Rockville Human Rights Commission and a dedicated human rights activist. This award recognizes the exemplary efforts of individuals or groups within the city who act to reduce the barriers that restrain the full participation of those with disabilities. So, here to read the names of the MLK Youth Award nominees is Commissioner Irfan Mertusa. Please welcome to the stage.
Hello, everyone. We're almost at the end of the program, but we have some very important business to take care of. My name is Irfan Mortaza, and I will be calling out the nominees for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Youth Award. Now, the award is given to a high school student in Rockville who demonstrates that she or he has helped to advance the goals and dreams of Dr. King in an academic setting or in the community. If you are here, please stand or otherwise identify yourself so that the audience can recognize you for your impressive efforts to carry on Dr. King's dreams. Now, in alphabetical order, the nominees for the award were Olivia Blucher, Imanike Ekpe-Somhebe, Crystal Foredia, Daniel Galileo, Hugh Allen Goffnet, Simone Koning, Jibril Muhammad, Eduardo Toge, Chamini Welikala, Gideon Wakina, Angelique Wong. Let's give them all a big hand. Now, the winner of this year's award goes to Jibril Muhammad. Jibril, could you please come up on stage? Now, as Jibril's coming up, I'll read what he's done. Jibril is a Rockville High School student. He was selected for being a founding member of the Black Student Union and for his membership in groups that promote diversity and engagement, including the Muslim Student Association, where he serves as vice president, and the Student Government Association, where he serves as treasurer. He joined members of the Black Student Union last year to sign posters opposing a hate group attempting to intimidate Rockville High School staff and students. Jibril, congratulations. Senator Kagan has also issued a congratulatory citation. And so now I'm going to turn things over to the mayor to present the F. Michael Taft Award.
is my honor and privilege to present the F. Michael Taft Award today in honor of the late Michael Taft, the former chair of the Human Rights Commission and a dedicated human rights activist. This award recognizes the exemplary efforts of individuals or groups within our city who act to reduce the barriers that restrain the full participation of people with disabilities. Behind me are the lists of those who were nominated, and this year's award recipient, 2018, goes to Tamara Mays Gallman, Executive Director of Disability Partnerships. Excuse me, too many papers. Well, I can give you this. Dr. Gallman was selected for founding a nonprofit organization whose first program was Wheels of Defense, a self-defense program for women with limited mobility, aimed at women who use wheelchairs, canes, walkers, or anyone who is unable to walk safely. The program combats the idea that women with physical disabilities are less able to defend themselves and promote nonviolent relationships and awareness of the needs of women with physical disabilities who may experience domestic violence. Congratulations, Ms. Gallman.
Thank you to both of our winners. We will now present our final award for the Student Multimedia Contest. High school students residing in or attending school in Rockville were invited to submit an original video, photo, essay, poem, or other work of art to raise awareness and encourage thought and understanding of a human rights topic. The first place award went to Rebecca Lakoritz. Please stand. Second place to Daniela Brigatti. And third place to Kwame Frimpong. Congratulations, everyone. I ask that you come up on stage and receive your award. Let's give them a big hand.
All right, one more big round of applause to all of our nominees and our winners. Now, we started this day saying we are in this together. So in order to send us off on our way, we have one more performance that truly embraces the phrase, we are in this together. We have a culmination of talent. We have Scott Painter making a return to the stage, along with the community choir. And also, we have a good friend of mine, Avery Collins, who is going to spit a little bit of lyrics for us as well. So if I could have all three groups to come to the stage, please give them a warm hand.
Can we get a little love for our MC right here? This man has been working all day long. Give it up for Mr. Chris. So we're going to do another John Legend tune. Is that all right with you and yours? All right. Once again, I just want to thank the Rockville community for having all of us here. You know, it's a real privilege and a pleasure to be here with you and yours today. One day when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Whoa, one day when the war is done, we will be sure. We will be sure. Glory. Oh, oh, glory.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against. Yes, glory is destined. Every day, women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtapositioning us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, his spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we women and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots, we on the ground. The camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is done, we will be strong, we will be strong. 'Cause the war is not over, victory isn't won. We'll fight to the finish, till it's all done. I say glory, whoa, glory, whoa,
Selma is now for every man, woman, and child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They marched with the torch. We gon' run with it now. Never look back. We done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads, heroes, to become a hero. Facing a league of justice. Power was the people. Enemy is lethal. A king became regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under a bald eagle. The biggest weapon is to stay peaceful. We sing. Our music is the cuts that we bleed through. Somewhere in the dream we had an epiphany. Now we right the wrongs in history. No one can win the war individually. It take the wisdom of the elders, young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory. The coming of the Lord, my eyes have seen the glory.
Sing now one day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Sing along, glory. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone together now. Oh, sing along, say glory. Sing it now, glory. Sing it on, glory. Oh, everybody sing glory. Get some glory for Dr. King. Oh, glory.
One more big round of applause. And what is the end to an event without a blessing? Can I please ask Reverend Amy Williams Clark and Rabbi Alana Suskin to come up and give us a few words?
We are here together. We gather in the spirit of love and justice. We have sung together. We have been together, celebrated together, and we have said, glory. We have been getting ready for this moment to proclaim that the moment is now, for commemoration to become continuation, and celebration to move to agitation. As we live out Dr. King's legacy and demand that the Poor People's Campaign continue, and that systematic racism, poverty, and the war economy and the ecological devastation has no place in a world of justice. May we be blessed as we bless one another with our passion for creating a better world. May we carry forth the dream of possibility so that we may make real the dream of justice. Blessed be, and amen.
All right, that brings us to the conclusion of our event. Thank you so much for being an amazing audience. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give all of our performers a round of applause. Give all of our speakers a huge round of applause. And please remember to visit all of the amazing tables that are out there. If you have not registered to vote, please do that, because that is the reason why so many people did so much dedication throughout history. So thank you so much, and Soul in Motion is going to lead us on our journey out. Thank you, everybody.